Hello everyone. We have started methods of separation. From that we have studied a few methods like hand picking method, threshing, winnowing, sieving. All these methods we have studied. Now today we are going to study another methods of separation, that is sedimentation, decantation and filtration. So these three methods are also used for filtration of the two substances or separation of two substances. Now sometimes by hand picking method or winnowing or any other sieving and all that, we can separate some lighter impurities and all that from the another substance. But still if there may be a lighter impurities like dust or soil particles in rice or pulses, now how are such impurities separated from rice or pulses before cooking? Now you may have observed that before cooking or before preparing for the rice, your mother always drain out the water from the rice. She washes the rice and drain out that water. So this we are going to study today in this method. Rice or pulses are usually washed before cooking. When you add water to these, the impurities like dust and soil particles get separated. So you may have observed the above layer of water, it contains many dust and other impurities which we don't want. We want to remove it, which becomes a little muddy also. Now what will sink to the bottom of the vessel? The rice will sink obviously at the bottom. Okay, why? Because they are heavier in weight. How have you seen that the vessel is tilted to pour out the dirty water? Yes, you might have seen that how your mother drain out the water which we don't want in the rice, and we get then afterwards by washing 2-3 times we get the clean rice for cooking. When the heavier component in a mixture settles after water is added to it, the process is called sedimentation. And when water is removed, the process is called decantation. Now these two processes we are going to study today. You will understand more when you watch these pictures. See here, we see a beaker which is filled with water and sand. Okay, now we can see in the beaker two layers are formed. Down layer is of sand and above layer is water. Now what happens whenever insoluble substance we add into water, it does not get soluble. If we add here sugar, we can't separate them because it is totally dissolved in the water. But when we take insoluble substance, add into water, it goes and settle down. Okay, whatever portion which is insoluble, that will go and settle down at the bottom. We have studied these methods. Now what happens when it settled down? The sedimentation is the process in which insoluble heavy particles in a liquid are allowed to settle down at the bottom of a container. As we know that only heavy particles go and sink at the bottom. We have studied sinking and floating process also. Which are heavier, they go and settle at the bottom, and which are lighter, they float on the water. So here what happens, this insoluble heavy particles, they settle down at the bottom. This process of is called sedimentation. Okay, एखादे दोन substance घ्यायचे, when you mix in it, keep it aside for some time, let them make a separate two layers. थोड्या वेळ थांबले की त्याचे दोन लेयर तयार होतात. Okay, so this process is called sedimentation. Then what is the next process? Now see here, the beaker is tilted and trying to drain only the above layer of water. Now see in another picture, you can see you got one clear liquid in a beaker, and in another liquid the heavy particles remain at the bottom. Now this process is called decantation. Decantation is the process by which a clear liquid obtained after sedimentation is transferred into another container without disturbing the settled particles. खालचे जे हेवी पार्टिकल आहेत त्यांना न हलवता वरच्या वर पाणी सेपरेट केलं, that process is called decantation. Now see again in textbook. The same principle is used for separating a mixture of two liquids that do not mix with each other. Now this was one solid and one liquid, but two liquids when you take together, what happens? If we take oil and water, oil also form a layer above the water. Okay, it does not dissolve totally in the water, it forms a layer. Now let us again consider a mixture of solid and liquid after preparing a tea. Now what happens in tea? Actually what happens in tea, you can observe the pictures I have shown here. When you prepare a tea, and see in the first picture, you cannot separate all the mixture by the process of decantation. That person is trying to take tea into the cup without disturbing, but still some leaves of tea leaves are there in the tea. So this is not the process. The actual we can't separate tea leaves from tea with decantation process. We need another process, that is called filtration process. See in the another picture, the process of separation of a mixture with the help of a strainer or a filter, त्यालाच फिल्टर म्हणतात. स्ट्रेनर म्हणजे गाळणं, गाळण्याने आपण चहा गाळला की टोटली आपण सगळे जे टीचे पार्टिकल्स आहेत ते सेपरेट करू शकतो and we get a clear tea. So this process is called filtration. Now another method of filtration is there. See the pictures, this is given in your textbook also, you can see there also, and you can observe the slides also. Now here in the first picture they have used cotton cloth as a filter. Now cotton cloth also has very small pores. You can see the picture they have shown, that how small particles of cotton cloth they have zoom and shown there, and that brown color are mud particles. They are bigger in size than the pores of cotton cloth, so they do not go below, only clear water falls down in the beaker. And in another picture you have shown, after instead of cotton cloth you can use a filter paper also. Filter paper also has very fine particles, so they do not allow bigger particles to go through it. So this is also another method you can see. If you take a filter paper, make a cone shape of filter paper, now add the mixture of sand and water in that, you can see clear water fall down in the beaker. So these are the process of sedimentation, decantation and filtration. Same thing is given in your textbook also, read all it for more understanding. In the next period we'll see evaporation. What is evaporation? What is condensation? Okay, so for today we'll stop here. Thank you.